Have you ever stopped to think about the smallest words in a sentence? You know, the ones we use all the time but barely notice? Well, today we're putting a spotlight on these tiny, unsung heroes of language. They're the invisible glue that holds everything together. And I promise, once you see how they work, you'll start noticing them everywhere.
So what are these little powerhouses I'm talking about? They're the words that build bridges between ideas, give us directions, and basically make our sentences make sense. They might be small, but their impact, it's absolutely huge.
And the answer is prepositions. Think of a preposition as the GPS for your sentence. It tells you where things are, when they happen, and which way they're going. Without them, we'd be completely lost, just floating in a sea of confusing words.
So let's dive right in with our first category, prepositions of place. It's pretty straightforward. These are the words that answer one simple question: where?
You use these constantly, probably without even thinking about it. Words like in, on, under, behind. They're all prepositions of place. Let's look at a few in action. Take a super simple example like this one. The word in tells us exactly where the ball is located. It's contained inside the box. It paints a clear picture, right? Now look what happens when we switch to on. The book isn't inside the desk, it's resting on top of the surface. That one tiny word completely changes the spatial relationship we're picturing in our heads. And here, with under, we get another totally different image. Now the dog is in a position lower than the chair. See? These little words are doing all the heavy lifting to create a precise mental map for us. Okay, so we've covered where things are. Now let's talk about when things happen. It's time to look at prepositions of time, which anchor our sentences to a specific point on the timeline. Words like before and after help us talk about sequence, but let's zero in on the big three that we often get mixed up: at, on, and in. Each one has a specific job to do. Okay, here's a simple rule of thumb. We use at for very specific, precise clock times. Think of it like dropping a pin on a map, but for time. It marks that exact moment. Now, when we're talking about specific days or dates, that's when on comes into play. The exam isn't happening at just any time, it's happening specifically on that day. And for the bigger containers of time, we're talking months, seasons, years, we use in. It's a bit broader, covering a whole period rather than the single point in time. All right, we've nailed down place and time. Now let's get things moving. Our next stop is prepositions of movement, which, you guessed it, describe the journey from point A to point B. These are our action words. Words like to, through, and across add a sense of direction and energy to our sentences. They tell the story of how something gets from one place to another. Check this out. The word into is so descriptive here. It doesn't just say the dog went in the pool, it shows us the action of moving from the outside to the inside. And through gives us a different kind of movement. It implies you're moving within something that has volume, like a forest or a tunnel. You go in one side and come out the other. Okay, now for the fun part. This is where you can really level up your grammar game. Let's look at a few common mistakes people make so you can avoid them and use these words like a pro. Oh, this is a classic mix-up. Now you might sit in an armchair because it kind of wraps around you, but for a regular chair, like a dining chair, you're sitting on the surface. The type of chair actually changes the preposition. Hey, remember our rule for time? This is a perfect example. For specific days of the week, you've got to use on. It's on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. You get the idea. This one can be tricky. Think of it like this. Your journey is to a destination, but the actual moment of arrival happens at a specific place. So you travel to the airport, but you arrive at the airport. All right, you've seen the rules, you've seen the examples. Are you ready to put your knowledge to the test? Let's do a quick fire practice round. Let's go. Okay, first one. The cat is blank the bed. Is it under or on? I'll give you a second.
If you said under, you are correct. The cat is in a position below the bed. Awesome. Let's try another one.
Okay, what about this one? We're talking about a specific time on the clock, so will we meet at 6 p.m. or in 6 p.m.? Yes, it's at. Remember, for those precise clock times, At is your go-to preposition. You're doing great. One more.
Last one. The girl walked blank the park. Think about the movement. Is she moving from one side to the other? Inside the space of the park?
That's it. She walked through the park. Fantastic work. See, you're already getting the hang of it.
So there you have it. You've cracked the code on prepositions, the invisible architecture that guides us through space, time, and action. Now the only question is, where are you going to spot these little connecting words at work in your world today?